So French versus India. I think it's considered a French favorite matchup for the most part, but it can really go either way depending on the players. India has some options, but I think the most common one we see is like a sepoy rush, where French like has to make infantry to defend and then ages up, and then India struggles against the early fortress kind of cannon pressure and stuff like that. But he could potentially go for some kind of Cardi, Mata, FF or something, so we'll just have to wait and see what wonder he drops down.
Okay. This is like probably the third game we are seeing, the third cast game we are seeing India being played. Specific reason, like why most people are playing India on this map?
Say that again, sorry?
This is like the third casted game where we are seeing India as the civilization being played. So, any specific
Oh, yeah,
reason? Like,
I think India is a good pick on this map overall, just because of the way the resources are laid out. And basically, if you put an aggro fort in the middle of the map, you deny like 2 hunts and 2 gold mines in the middle, and then he only has like one option, which is to expand to the top side of the map for resources, and that kind of means that India can outlast the other player really easily and knows exactly where to pressure the villagers and everything like that. So I like the decision to play India on this map.
okay. So, like, let's take a look at treasures. I think both the players have got like good amount of treasures, 80 food and 44 for Marco and 80 food for Sputnik. So probably India is going to get a very good age of time because of the 80 food they have got, and can easily get the market upgrades in age up as well because almost 90 coin in treasures.
Yeah, because he's actually going to lay the aggro fort down right now. Looks like around 3 minutes, pretty standard age up time. I didn't see the crate start, unfortunately, so I'm not sure if it was a gold start or anything like that, but either way,
Uh,
this is a decent age time.
I don't think it was a gold stud because he has like 90 coin and that's from treasures. So
Yeah, so definitely wasn't.
yes.
Either way, so we're definitely going to be seeing some early sepoy pressure, most likely. Marco's just doing standard stuff as well, it looks like. Dropping down to trading post
Yeah.
and gathering wood for his market, looks like.
Do you like the Agra position? I would have liked
Um,
it somewhere more near the mine, maybe in front of the mine.
I think yeah, it would have been better near the mine, but I'm not sure if he had it scouted. I think he probably did, but it's not that bad. It still gives him like a good line of attack, and he's still pressuring that gold mine. Like the aggro force still kind of has to be down before Marco can really gather from that mine safely.
Yeah,
Definitely could have been a little bit better, but it's not bad.
yeah. What do you think about decks for both the players?
Let me take a look. India looks pretty standard. He's got 10 Tiger Claws, which some people don't have in their deck, so he could potentially send that later to keep on the pressure. But other than that, it looks fairly standard. As for the French player, Marco, his deck looks fairly standard as well. Nothing really stands out as out of the ordinary. So not going to be seeing any crazy strategies. Ooh, Sputnik's actually dropping down the consulate in transition. So we're actually going to be seeing some redcoats and probably the sort of delayed redcoat sepoy timing push.
Yeah, yeah. Like it's on ESOC patch, we have seen a lot of players sending 300 export first and then getting 6 red codes from the consulate instead of sending 5 musketeers. That's probably because, sorry, instead of sending 5 sepoys, that's probably because we have a sepoy enough on the patch, and red codes are like just simply better now because of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Basically the consulate is an adaptation that people have been going with more frequently. than on the previous patch, simply because the 10% aura makes your Sepoy a lot stronger against stuff like Town Center Fire, and yeah, basically just make it feels a lot more like the old Sepoy when you're doing the consulate build. I like the decision to go for that.
Yeah, so yeah, exactly. So it's like 300 export is its second shipment and 4 CDB coming in for the French player. Although stable start was a Cinder, this is interesting. I mean, he probably scouted the Agra very fast, so
Yeah, he definitely had the Agra scouted. I saw his scout was stealth there for a while. It was under
yeah,
construction. It's an interesting decision to actually go for the stable. Basically, he's just planning to keep the pressure on Sputnik's base enough that he can't actually produce enough units to pressure Marco's own base, or hopefully draw units back to defend his villagers and stuff like that.
yeah. And there are those like 6 redcoats out and another Sepoy batch. He's not really getting like 5 Sepoy batches, which is fairly easy to get with India, at least the first couple batches. So
Yeah, I think it's because he went for this market in his base, so he's investing resources into market techs instead of
yeah,
Sepoys, which is okay. It means that his push later is going to be stronger. Is just missing out on a couple of Sepoy early on is the downside.
that
5
was
Sepoy popping out at home just to defend the raid.
yeah, but he still lost one villager, like very near to town center, so that's pretty bad or sloppy, I would say.
It's not great, yeah, but he seems to be doing all right for himself, though. He's lost a couple of SAR, which takes a little bit of the pressure off. I believe he can still call sentries to defend his TC if Marco tries to go for more raids while he pushes the main base here, and he's going in right now.
Yeah, and
And the downside to this Hussar star is Marco doesn't really have anything to defend this right now, so we'll have to see what Sputnik can get done.
the CDBs are really strong though, and Marco have the villager HP, so I think it's fine. And 8x crossbowmen have been shipped, so
Yeah, crossbowmen and Minutemen coming out. Elephants are getting onto it, but Sepoy don't have the best pathing yet onto those units. Looks like he's just gonna lose the monks for nothing. Not really gonna gain much from this push, actually. He's losing more vills back at home. Yeah, definitely a good trade for Marco overall, I think.
yeah, he has lost like 5 villages now, the India players. So if
He's losing a lot of crossbows here, though. Not kiting, probably paying too much attention to his Sassar at the base.
yeah,
So he could actually be in trouble here. Marco doesn't have any hunts under his town center. He's going to have to fight with CDB most likely if he wants to actually be able to gather resources in the near future.
yeah, I think he will still be fine here because there is simply not enough mass from the India player to do any kind of damage here. So for the moment, I think Marco is fine.
Yeah, he'll be all right for the moment, but it's only a matter of time until Sputnik brings in these 5 Sepoy that were originally for defending the Hussar, and then sends 4 Soar. And if Marco doesn't have enough units at that point, it's going to be really hard to hold. And he's sending 700 gold now. I wonder if he'll just reinvest that into units. I think he would have liked to try and age with that, but I'm not sure if he actually can age with that with the amount of food he has left and the amount of units he has to defend that.
Yeah.
So I think Sputnik might have forced him to stay in H2 here, which is definitely going to be better for the India player long term.
All right. And this is probably like a good time to start herding this back to the town center. I mean, if it stabilizes or when it stabilizes, because he is running out of food right now in the base. So
Yeah, he would definitely like to herd it into, but he just doesn't have the freedom to move villagers over there to herd it. So
yeah.
he has to win this fight, and he has to win it decisively if he wants to. Rule 5 SR popping.
Perfect.
This could actually be really good for him.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think he has pretty much stabilized. Now the only issue for him is that he has no food left in his base, so he has to somehow fix that or somehow get map to take control of that.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough still. Sputnik's adding in 2 more trading posts, so he's actually going to be going for Stagecoach. He knows that Marco's trapped at H2 and can't gather food, so he knows that he has time to add it in, and that's just going to put him even further ahead. I think
Yeah,
it's a really really clever decision.
right. And
600 wood coming in for Marco.
yeah,
Just running out of options for shipments.
in terms of like market upgrades, the Sputnik has not got imperial bureaucracy, so this might really be a good time for him to get that because he has Marco pressured back in his base, and he literally has the entire map to himself. So taking a decisive economic advantage here might, I think, it might be a good choice to get it. The rest market upgrades right now.
Yeah, definitely. I think what he's probably investing those resources into things like Stagecoach at the moment, so he probably doesn't have the freedom to get it just yet. But I imagine he'll probably get it pretty soon. Dropping some more houses. He actually might want to get a stable down pretty soon as well, or a second Rax or something. His eco is going to be taking off once Stagecoach hits. So 5 more Hussar out for Marco. Going to be doing some more raiding with those,
Yeah,
and looks like he's moved his vills up to this hunt here, and basically it's going to come down to whether or not he can defend that hunt and manage to win a fight decisively enough that it allows him to age. 4 SO are coming right now for Sputnik. Looks like he's just going to use those to defend the Hussar for now. So if nothing else, those Hussar are definitely buying Marco some time to get more units out or to
yeah.
age up.
And like in a few seconds, he'll have another batch of redcoats ready. He's almost on 400 export. So
Losing 1 villager. Doesn't get caught by the SOAR. Ooh, sentries popping out, though.
yeah, and
That's really awkward position to get caught in.
yeah, probably going to lose a
Although,
couple of
sorry, go on.
probably going to lose a couple of assaults. That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, meanwhile, though, in Marco's base, he's getting pushed, and he doesn't really have the units to defend this, it looks like.
I really don't like. I mean, I don't get why Marco is still making hussars when he knows that his opponent is purely sepoys, not even a single Gukha batch. So
Well, I think the main reason he's making Hussar is simply for the pressure it puts on Sputnik. He could make more infantry, but if he does that, then he kind of just has to sit and wait for Sputnik to do something. So we're getting on top of the crossroads here. Looks like Marco should be all right. Still no stable. Oh no, he just added a stable. Sorry, but still no more additional SOAR coming. You could still send the rattan shields though.
yeah, it's going to cost 500 coin though.
Yeah. So Marco's going to hold this for now. Yeah. So about the Hussar decision, basically what he's wanting to do is draw some of Sputnik's attention away from his own base and villagers, and force Sputnik to sort of defend. And by doing that, he buys a lot of time for himself. So I actually like the decision to continue making Hussar. Making Hussar in the first place might have sort of put him in this situation to begin with, but I think now he's got no choice really but to kind of commit to it.
All right, that makes sense. So like a solo batch is in queue for Sputnik right now, and we have few musketeers and hussars in queue. At some point, Marco should really think about checking the trading posts, at least the one which is closer to his base, because the longer and longer he allows India player to have the stagecoach, the longer and longer, the bigger and bigger economic difference is going to. And
Yeah,
fighting.
it's
Sorry, go on.
it's definitely a problem that's going to be on his mind. Looks like he's losing his army and his main base here. If Sputnik can win this and then push on to the villagers, then this could be the deciding moment in the game.
Yeah, I think this is like very hard for Marco right now because he has basically lost the entire army. He should really take this fight because Marco is going to lose this fight. So I don't know why he's going back.
He's just playing it safe. Doesn't want to get caught by I don't know, some unexpected units popping. But looks like he's going to be cleaning this up for sure. He also cleaned up the Hussar in his base that were
Yeah,
trying to get some raiding done. So yeah, looking to be really good for Sputnik at the moment. The question is, does he know where the CDB are? It doesn't look like it,
luck.
but Marco
Yeah,
realizes he's too far behind to come back, and he's going to call it. Yeah, so good decision by Sputnik overall, I think, to play it the way he did. Once he realized he had a lead, he made a really good decision in sort of consolidating that lead with the stagecoach line, and just play. He didn't play too aggressively. Like sometimes if you play India and you're playing this sort of rush sort of style, you kind of bait yourself into thinking you have to kill the town center really quickly. But Sputnik realized that Marco didn't have any resources and he was pretty far behind, and he realized he had tons of time just to make sure that he had everything he needed to win the game.
Yeah, I think the main problem with Marco was, the thing he couldn't take advantage was like India player lost 5 villagers pretty early on in the game, and that was the moment when he should have really focused on taking the advantage from there, but I simply failed to do that. So
Either way, it was a good game. Who are we casting next?
yeah, okay.